SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Waiting. You do it at grocery stores, in traffic, and at the doctor's office. But what if you could skip the wait altogether? Introducing Trust Care Plus, a healthcare membership that makes feeling better even faster. Skip the waiting room and enjoy priority access at any Trust Care clinic. Sick kid? Text your care crew day or night. Get discounts on prescriptions and so much more. Wait no more. Feeling better just got a whole lot faster. Join Trust Care Plus today. Plans start from just $15 a month. Learn more at trustcarehealth.com/plus.
Roll pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Roll A. Fade up on A.
Southern Miss to the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
All right, let's go. Super Talk Eagle Hour is on the air. We're glad you're with us. Bob, Kelly, and Dima. We're in the Southern Bancorp studio here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And the opening segment of our program, as it is every day, is sponsored by Dickey's Barbecue Pit, which would be a great place to get a meal during the holidays, or I guess there'd still be time, Kelly, to cater Dickey's for Christmas.
You're probably under the gun, but they would make it happen. I feel certain. Even though Christmas is Christmas Eve's next Wednesday. We're in the countdown to Christmas.
A week from today. No,
yeah. Christmas Day is a week from today.
Christmas Day is a week from today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course,
I got to go to the store.
Of course, you'll be vacationing next week, Mr.
I'll
Getty.
be in beautiful Florida, my friend. 75 degrees. I checked the temperature.
So for any of you burglars out there, the Gettys will not be home.
Yes. But we do have an armed guard that stays there when we're not around.
I don't think Pearl Girl is much of a security guard.
Yeah.
Home Alone Part 2.
Yeah. Hey, tomorrow we're going to be at Midtown Corner Market from 1 to 3 o'clock. It is our annual Home of Hope food drive. Homes for Hope food drive, my apologies. Asking everybody to bring canned food by our remote location tomorrow. If you can, we'd greatly appreciate that. Gift cards, if you'd like to give a gift card of any denomination to the kids out at Homes of Hope. We have started getting stuff in. We're really grateful, but we need a lot more, so we'll be there from 1 to 3. Got a great show lined up for you. Going to be talking football and basketball and Homes of Hope and Christmas and all sorts of fun things, and we hope you'll come by and join us. 1 to 3 tomorrow, Homes of Hope food and gift card drive, Christmas 2025.
And actually, Bob, you don't even have to bring any of those things because Corner Market sells all of it.
All of them. That's
right?
Exactly right.
Food and gift cards.
And one thing we're going to be talking about, too, tomorrow with the guys at Corner Market is they have food bins year-round in the front of their stores. And we want to encourage everybody in the new year to do that year-round. Anytime you go and buy some groceries at Corner Market, pick up 1 or 2 cans of food and drop it in there. Because imagine feeding 15, 16 kids 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
3 meals a day.
3 meals a day plus snacks.
Right.
So it takes a lot of food, and we hope that everybody listening can help us with
And
that.
Corner Market is a locally owned business, too, that puts money back into the community. So, every once in a while I hear people say, well, this store or that store, they're a little bit more expensive. Maybe not. But I'm just saying they put money back into the community where a lot of these other big stores don't. So remember that.
Like it goes to Benton, Arkansas when you buy it from Walmart.
Well, you said that. I didn't.
Well, it's true.
You're correct.
But it's true.
You're right.
It's right.
You're right.
All right, Blake Anderson is going to be joining us here in just a few minutes. Let me go around the horn here. What do you want to know from the coach here today, Dima?
Yeah, just seeing how he's balancing bowl prep because they have a game on Tuesday, which is just kind of funny when you think about it. Because I was sitting down yesterday, kind of getting some stuff prepared for the bowl game, and it's like, man, there's a football game to be played here in about 4 or 5 days. But he's also having to juggling, interviewing staff and trying to get all of that worked out before the transfer portal opens up in 2 weeks. So he's got a lot on his plate, and it'd just be interesting to hear how he's trying to juggle all of that, being back in the saddle as the head coach.
Kelly, what's your thoughts?
You notice how Dima looked at me when he said he's got a lot on his plate? He always is cracking jokes about me and food. But
I didn't say anything.
No,
I will say I'm not expecting any Jenny's ice cream tomorrow. That's for daggum sure.
They've already told me they're not letting us have any.
And really, Bob, I think not as much of a coach, but as a human being, I want to learn if whatever he's comfortable sharing with how he has been through some really tough personal tragedies with family life and some of the entanglements at Utah State. And I want to know how he has dealt with that and how he has changed as a person, how he has evolved as a person in dealing with all the things that have come his way.
Didn't Coach Anderson lose both his wife and a child?
Yes.
Is that not right?
And that's just one of the things.
That's just more tragedy than any one human being should have to endure, I think.
Yeah, and then like I said, the things going on at Utah State, which is going to clear itself one way or the other somewhere down the road. But I would have to feel like the administration at Southern Miss would have had to have felt very good that Blake Anderson was going to emerge unscathed in those allegations. Otherwise, they might not have taken a chance of hiring him.
Yeah, and for everybody listening, you have to go to YouTube, search in on the little search bar, Blake Anderson College Game Day story.
Yes.
And it's just this awesome 7-minute piece on the loss of his son. Of course, if you don't know, his son did take his life close to the timing of his wife passing away, and the story
I didn't realize that.
is just a tremendously done by ESPN story on YouTube that everybody should go watch. And he really got emotional in that press conference when he was saying, I've trusted in the Lord and He's brought me back here. Every time my faith has wavered, or every time I've sat there and said, Lord, why? Like, He reminds me He's still good. And you saw him on the podium taking another head coaching job after all the tragedy he's been through. It's an incredible feat, and man, I'm rooting for him, man. I mean, it's just
100%.
You can't not root for a guy who's gone through so much, but still gets up every morning. And you know what he's doing? He's trying to be better for those kids. He's not doing it for himself. Right. He's there to make sure those kids are loved.
And thank goodness he did find another lady in his life that can help carry that burden with him.
And I know that a lot of people in the community too sometimes, because he's not the youngest guy out there, but he certainly is not the oldest guy out there, but you would never know how old he is based on his energy level. Right. This is a guy, man, that is up. I mean, he's going to outwork anybody regardless of his age.
If you sit in the press box on a Saturday afternoon while he's calling the offensive game, you'll hear some energy.
I learned that one afternoon this year, Dima. I happened to be sitting right by where those coaches were, and whoa.
He's got some energy. He says some words Kelly generally says.
Yes.
But that just goes to show you that age is just a number lots of times. And there sometimes you will see coaches obviously chill as they get older and obviously not be as involved in day-to-day operations of the football team that they're supposed to be the head coach of. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that with Blake Anderson.
I'm really excited to see him on the sideline in the New Orleans Bowl. It'll be kind of different to see his energy on the field. I think it's going to be interesting. And one thing we can't ask him is about that difference, because the whole season he's been up in the booth calling plays. Who's going to be in the booth calling plays? How's that going to work? Because Blake Anderson's going to call plays from the sidelines, which he hasn't done since he was the head coach at Utah State. So that'll be an interesting direction to go with the interview.
We have him for one segment. We're grateful for that. When things settle down, the bowl game, what have you, I think we can get him out here for an extended period of time. But we're grateful for the 20 minutes that he's going to give us here at the bottom of the hour.
And Bob, can I just kind of piggyback on what you said? A lot of people, because you guys talk to us when we're out in the public about what you like about the show and what you don't like, and we love to hear that. But one of the criticisms that I thought that our show took that I don't think was necessarily fair is they said we really didn't hear a whole lot from coaches and players during the regular season compared to years past. And I just want to be clear that wasn't our call. That it was Coach Huff's call to severely limit access to the media. And again, that's his prerogative. He can do that as a head coach, but it wasn't our decision to make. So it was not an oversight on our part. We were just restricted as per the head coach.
You could be doing some basketball interviews in the next couple of days, right?
Yes. Yeah. Looking forward to talking.
Because we cover all the sports.
We do. Yeah. And we even cover the ones that a lot of people might not even know take place at Southern Miss. We've covered esports before. These guys are both looking like esports are not sports. But they're called esports, guys. So there you go. Dima, these are fully scholarship people.
I didn't say a word. I'm just laughing. Just laughing.
Yeah,
They
laughing.
got me all choked up just thinking about it.
Yeah, laughing doesn't mean anything.
I'm just
right?
going to stick over here and eat my Sour Patch.
Hey, when we come back, and that's what they've both been doing since they got in here, eating Sour Patch.
I ate about 3.
Gummy candies, let me tell you. I thought they were going to choke when we first had to hit the air.
Man, my eyeballs about fell out after eating that yellow one. Holy cow. Whew, those are sour.
You didn't tell him what you did to the yellow ones,
I didn't.
did you? Okay.
Is that why they're yellow?
Well, he'll find out. In a couple hours. You know, Frank Zappa said, don't eat the yellow snow.
Yeah,
that's where the Huskies go.
That applies to yellow Sour Patch.
You got me. You got me on that one, guys.
How many people out there are going, who the hell is Frank Zappa? Why does he keep talking about this Frank Zappa guy? I don't know who he's talking about. You're a big fan, aren't you, Dima?
I don't know who that is.
Surprise!
Hey, when we come back, believe it or not, a team that looked a lot like Michigan in their uniforms, but really nothing much like Michigan, the Delaware Blue Hens.
At least they have a head coach.
Yes, beat a Sun Belt team last. The league is not off to a good start in bowl game. We'll talk about that when we come back. Blake Anderson at 1:30.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour. The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
All right, welcome back. SuperTalk Eagle Hour on the air. We're glad you're with us. This segment is sponsored by Eagle Tire West. If you're planning a road trip for the holidays, stop by Eagle Tire West, get your vehicle checked out. They sell premium Goodyear products. They've got full-service auto and truck service. You'll find them next to Smith Motor Company on Highway 98 West in Hattiesburg. A family-operated business since 1985, Eagle Tire and Eagle Tire West. Goodyear Tires, full service, and big Southern Miss supporters, as is Mr. Grubbs at Genesis of Hattiesburg, the official auto dealer of the Eagle Hour. Their sedans and SUVs are beautiful. They're at Mississippi's new exclusive Genesis dealership. You'll find it on Highway 98 West in Hattiesburg. Well, Louisiana takes it on the chin last night. I didn't even know Delaware had a football team. But apparently they do. And this has been a pretty rough start, Dima Mixon, for the Sun Belt in postseason play.
It really has. Of course, ODU won yesterday, but so that was pretty cool to see them beat South Florida. But that was, of course, South Florida without their starting quarterback. So, it kind of was what it was. But also ODU was playing without their starting quarterback because he entered the transfer portal. Delaware beats UL. Jacksonville State beats Troy. Tonight, Missouri State plays Arkansas State in the Xbox Bowl in Dallas. So that should be an interesting game. But if you kind of looking down the schedule, you got Arkansas State, Missouri State. It's basically a pick 'em. Arkansas State's favored by 1. So if you say, hypothetically, Arkansas State wins that game, you look at the rest of the Sun Belt schedule. James Madison and Oregon, you'd think Oregon would win there. Western Kentucky, a 6-point favorite against the Golden Eagles. And then 2 Sun Belt teams playing each other. So you have a chance to end this thing with a losing record in the bowl games for the Sun Belt.
And Missouri State, who is in Conference USA, as it stands now, actually just lost their head coach to Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
So you've got, and we sit here and we're talking about the Conference USA teams that are beating the Sun Belt in these bowl games, but it's the Conference USA coaches that are leaving to go to the Sun Belt. So that's got to tell you a little bit of something.
Yeah, for sure. And you have a lot of Conference USA Sun Belt games left. Western Kentucky, Southern Miss, Louisiana Tech, Coastal, and Rice and Texas State. Is Rice? They're in the AAC, right? American? Are they in the American?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Okay, so never mind on that. But, yeah, Coastal and Louisiana Tech and Southern Miss, Western Kentucky still to come. Conference USA, Sun Belt Bowl mania. But then, of course, you got that weird Sun Belt game in Georgia Southern and App State. So.
Yeah. Unless they end in a tie, somebody should.
So let me ask both you guys this, and I hate to admit this, but never before has my interest in bowl games been less. Have you watched many, Kelly?
I've watched bits and pieces.
What about you?
I haven't watched a single play, actually.
And you guys, because of this playoff situation now, I think that bowls are really going to be extinct.
I think you're right.
In a couple years, because it's like, everybody will have the attitude that Notre Dame had.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not in the top, whatever it is, whatever the number is going to be, then who cares? What's the point? And it used to be, Dima, before you were born, it used to be where teams, and I'm not being facetious, but when you would go to a bowl game, it would be a financial windfall for schools to go because there were so few of them.
Yeah.
Everybody would travel and the schools would make money. The sponsors would make money. But because it's been so diluted and watered down, there's so many bowls that very few people even travel anymore. The advent of television coverage wall to wall has people staying at home. It winds up costing schools to go to bowl games now.
There couldn't have been 5,000 people at that game last night.
No, and definitely not many at the Montgomery Bowl against Troy and Jacksonville State. And also, I think a big thing for me is like all of these bowl games are in the most random times, days. Like people got to work. Like for example, the New Orleans Bowl. I've been kind of asking around, like who's all going to the New Orleans Bowl, and everybody's like, well, it's at 4:00 on a Tuesday. You can't just unless you're taking off, which a lot of people don't want to do close to the holidays because they want to save their off days for after the holidays to go see family and friends and stuff. Nobody's going to go to New Orleans at 4:00, and I think the game tomorrow, or the Birmingham Bowl's at 1:00 on a Monday. It's just such random
there was
times.
Old Dominion was playing South Florida when I got home.
Yeah,
yesterday.
like 3, and it's just.
Yeah. And they did win that game, by the way. Old Dominion did win the game. But no, you're right. You're right. Hey, let me pass something along, and this is not pleasant. I just got this in my phone, and this was an email just sent out by Christian Ostrander. We all remember Keller Bradford, coach here. Well, sad news to report. He and his wife had a baby recently, and their soon-to-be 1-year-old child, Case, I even hate to read this, has been diagnosed with a brain tumor and has been admitted to St. Jude's Children's Hospital to immediately begin treatment. And the baseball team has set up a donation page, and you can go to southernmiss.com, I'm sure, or to the baseball Facebook page. They've set up a donation page and asking people that may want to contribute toward this child's care. So we can only keep that family in our prayers. And Keller's a nice kid and got a really good dad, and that's a terrible, terrible thing to hear about a 1-year-old.
And to have to deal with that over the holidays.
Yeah,
too.
Babies like that shouldn't have to deal with anything except candy and Santa Claus and fun at Christmas. So our thoughts to Keller Bradford. If you want to contribute to that, you can go to those social media pages and find. I wanted to bring that. I didn't mean to. Down the segment here.
But that's part of life, right?
Yeah,
Unfortunately. Hey, in other news, Derek Nix, who was reported, has always been in the list of names as a potential head coach at Southern Miss.
I'm disappointed at this news.
Are coming back as perhaps an assistant coach. But Derek Nix, who was at Auburn last year, of course, Hugh Freeze was dismissed. And Alex Golish has taken over there now as the head coach. But Derek Nix will not be at Auburn anymore because he has signed on at Alabama.
Yeah.
So he will be on the Alabama Crimson Tide coaching staff with Kane Womack, another Southern Miss guy.
I saw the Alabama coach's name in the pot to take over Michigan.
Yep.
Do you see any realistic opportunities there?
Yeah, I think it'd be a great hire for Michigan. I think Kalen DeBoer belongs in the North, personally. I think him at Penn State would have made a lot of sense personally. Of course, that didn't pan out as I expected it to. His relationship with Alabama has just been weird for his whole tenure. So I think him at Michigan would be great. Obviously, we saw what he did at Washington, bringing them to the national championship a couple of years ago. But another name to watch at Michigan would be Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State. It seems like his name is kind of in that pot as well. So we'll see what Michigan does, but Michigan's got a lot to figure out, I think, right now, considering what happened with their coach, what sanctions they're on after the sign stealing stuff. So they got a lot to figure out, and hopefully they can keep a lot of their roster.
And the sign stealing issues, there might be some other things that are going to surface at Michigan, which could keep them in a hot pot of water for a long time.
Right. So and of course the athletic director came out yesterday and was like, yeah, we're gonna investigate everything, all these things. So it might be hard for me to be like, man, I that's exactly the place I want to go head coach. So
other than beating Ohio State most every year, it's been kind of rough for Michigan lately, hasn't it?
They didn't beat him this year.
I said most every year.
They didn't beat him this year.
Mr. Ohio State. Southern Miss first, Ohio State second.
Amen.
Yeah, exactly right.
So
what do you guys make of Louisiana losing to Delaware? That's pretty embarrassing, isn't it?
It's pretty bad. But I will say, I don't know. It's so hard for me to gauge bowl games as like a real thing. It's just kind of like
because who's playing?
Who's playing, right? And of course, like Southern Miss is a real thing because everybody's playing. So then you're like, oh, this will actually. I'm excited to watch everybody play. But like, I don't cover Louisiana, so I don't know how many of their players are playing. I don't cover Delaware, so I don't know how many of their players are playing.
Well, we talked about how bowl games.
I do know their starting quarterback was playing.
That they've been watered down so much over the years. There used to maybe have been 10 bowl games, and now there's like 24, or however many there are. Well, that takes 48 teams. Just to get it, just to qualify for a bowl game, you don't even have to be a winning team.
Well, with all due respect to Mississippi State, I mean, when you're 5-7 and go into a bowl game, I mean, you
and a pretty good one. They're going to the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Yeah,
or whatever
there are
in
too
Charlotte.
many bowl games. If a 5-7 team is playing the day after New Year's at a bowl game,
correct.
If they lose that game, they'll finish the year 5-8 and got rewarded with a New Year's weekend bowl game.
And that's why I think that bowl games are going to disappear. It's going to all be about the playoff, unless, of course, the Power Five break off and do their own thing, and then you could call these bowl games with the Group of Five, something else in their playoff structure.
That would be a great off-season debate whether or not we think Group of Five should break off, and I think we'll have a pretty clear answer after this weekend, seeing what JMU and Tulane does against some of these bigger Power Five teams like JMU.
Would you like for me to predict?
Well, we'll do our game picks tomorrow, and we'll see if we have JMU covering the 22.5 up in Oregon. I've compared them as to like the sacrificial lamb heading to Oregon.
Yeah, that's no question about that. That's just going to be ridiculous.
I think that would be kind of easy money, don't you?
21.5?
Yeah.
You think JMU will cover?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't.
Is that going to be your lock of the week?
No, I hope they do.
Another one of them. All right, Blake Anderson is the new football coach at Southern Miss, and he's about to make his first appearance on the SuperTalk Eagle Hour in exactly 5 minutes after this very short break. Stay with us. We'll be back with Coach Anderson next.
Southern Miss to the top. To the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
All right, everybody, welcome back. SuperTalk Eagle Hour on the air. Glad you're with us. Whatever station you're tuned in on this afternoon, online, or whether you catch the Eagle Hour podcast later today on Apple, Audible, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, or you can tell Alexa or Siri to play the SuperTalk Eagle Hour. All right, I want to get right to this segment. Head football coach Blake Anderson joins us. We know he's got young men standing outside his door right now waiting to see him, and just got off the practice field. So first of all, Coach, thanks very much for giving us the time, and I know that our listeners around the state and other areas will enjoy hearing from you. I want to ask you a question right out of the gate that I think's on a lot of people's mind. When it was announced that you were coming here as the OC, then a lot of speculation began to brew up among the fan base, and I think among the media too. And whether it was accurate or not, I don't know. But that thought process was that, well, Coach Anderson has been brought back because Coach Huff will be a short stay. Blake Anderson will be here. The program will be in great shape if he steps up to take over the program when Coach Huff leaves. Coach, was that ever a consideration when you were making the decision to come back here?
It really wasn't, and it was never talked about. I can see where people might get to that point with my track record as a head coach and coming back the way I did. But really, I took the job with the assumption that I was going to be Coach Huff's OC for however long that was while we were here and just do the best job I could. I didn't want to be on the couch watching people play. I didn't want to be away from the game. It was a really, really good opportunity at a place I loved. And I'd heard nothing but great things about him. Although we never worked together, I had a ton of people that I knew very well that had been with him along his way and said great things about him. So I just tried to make the decision based off of what was available, and that was come call plays, run the offensive room, try to help him win. And the rest of it, I'd let God handle the rest. I'm glad it worked out the way it did, but it wasn't orchestrated or talked about at any point.
Were you surprised when it happened? And because a number of us were surprised that it happened so quickly.
I don't know. I mean, he's had a good career, and to have won the championship a year ago and to have so many good jobs open at once, you kind of felt like to take a team from 1-11 to 7 and whatever, when people started looking at at possible candidates, you knew he had to get a look. I mean, that just is not something everybody can do. And whether or not he took one or one with the right fit, it's hard to say. But on the surface, he was doing what was asked, had changed the culture in a quick time frame. We were being successful, at least on a reasonable level, especially considering what we'd inherited. And I think, a lot of people had to look at him. It just so happens that one fit him and he fit them, and it happened maybe a little quicker than people anticipated. But at some point, he was going to be successful enough that he was going to be hard to hang on to.
Coach, I'm curious to hear, it's kind of crazy, there's so much happening, I'm sure, with you and, trying to get a staff interviewed. You got the transfer portal opening up, but then there's just also a game next week. Just curious on how you're balancing all that, because I'm sure that it's just such a busy time for you.
It's called no sleep. It has been a grind. I've done this twice before, right. But when you throw in the transfer portal in the middle of it and a bowl game in there as well, it does magnify all the timelines and all the stress. And so I'm doing the best I can. I got good people around me, but it has been a lot of meetings, a lot of calls, a lot of interviews, scripting, practice, watching tape. There's a lot to do in a short period of time. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm doing my best or not. I'm doing the best I can, so we'll see if it's enough come game day.
Percentage-wise, Coach, not necessarily looking for names, but percentage-wise, how close are you to having your staff rounded out?
Yeah, I'm down to just a couple spots. I've been able to I think, and that comes from being a head coach before to some degree. I felt like I knew who I would want and who would be a good fit here. And one by one, I've been able to make a dent in the open spots pretty quickly. Several have been here in town and on campus to kind of shadow what we're doing the last few days. Several others won't come until bowl games are over and be here around the first of the year. But I'm just down to a few spots, and there's no shortage of resumes blowing in that people want to be a part of what we're doing here, want to be a part of this program, and with a great tradition. So it won't be a problem finding candidates. Our problem is finding the right one.
And I'm sure those names will surface once the university, vets and goes through the proper channels to get those words out as to who some of those new hirees will be. But I want to talk to you about, rather than coaching, about a man. The fact that the tribulations and trials that you have had personally as a man, have just almost inhuman, the things that you've had to deal with. How have you changed as a man in the past 10 years? How are you different today than you were 10 years ago before you faced these tribulations?
To be truthful, I'm broken. to be truthful. I've learned to live in a different space. I've learned to live with grief that will never go away, and just lean on Christ first. That's where my foundation is in Him. And without Him, I wouldn't be talking to you guys. I would have given up a long time ago. Without my relationship with Christ and just the presence and the strength that comes from that, my wife and kids and friends and family that He's put around me in my path have been a tremendous amount of support and amazing people that have carried me. My wife has lifted me up on a daily basis. The kids, even the players and the kids, have done an amazing job at every stop I've been. Really, it has been one after another, things that just you wouldn't have ever imagined you'd go through, and it changes you. I'll never be quite the same, but I've learned that God can use it. I've been able to witness to a lot of guys that are struggling in similar situations. I've been able to be there for kids, players, staff that are dealing with some of the same circumstances that I have and am. It's one of those fraternities you don't want to be in, but if you're in it, you can relate in ways that others couldn't. And so trying to find purpose in pain. So I still have the passion to coach. I still love ball. I love what it allows me to do. But that's, the baggage of loss and grief, especially losing a child, is never going to go away. And so I do my very best to use it and let God use it every day, whether it's speaking to somebody or just being an example for somebody that maybe is watching, that I don't even know is watching. So I believe I've changed in a lot of ways, some for the better, some just the nature of what I've been through, and I'm trying to carry that as best I can.
Coach, well, what will we see Tuesday on the field? Will we see a different approach perhaps than what we saw during the year? But you were calling plays then, so you can pretty much follow the game plan that got you the 7 wins this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's personality is different, so being on the field and calling plays, I've done that before. I don't see that really changing. Everything about calling plays for us is dictated off the bodies that we have that are healthy and the opponent. I will say Braylon looks much, much better right now than he did at any point during the last month of the season. I'm sure everybody knows that he was hurt pretty badly against Arkansas State, and just he's a warrior. I mean, the guy probably should not have been playing. He just would not come out. And, I mean, I don't know how you take your best leader off the field and really markedly your best player if he can go, but he looks much different. He is more like himself. It will dictate the offense. I would like to be a little bit more wide open. We had to be very, very conservative down the stretch, and it didn't favor us a whole lot. I was just frustrated as the fans were. I mean, there was only so much we could do with him in a very limited space. So I'd like to open it up a little bit and let things be a little bit more diverse, a little bit more wide open, make the field a little bit bigger for the defense. But, I mean, we're not going to departure completely. I mean, we've got this group going into week 13 after a year's worth of prep in a new system. We're not going to wholesale change. We'll make changes in the spring as the personnel changes, as the offense coordinator comes in and brings his personality to it. But this week, try to use our personnel as best we can, and him being healthier is a big factor in that.
Coach, real quick, player retention, such a big deal. Obviously, you said in your press conference you expect some attrition both ways. Are those conversations you have before the bowl game or maybe after the bowl game?
I got about 15 guys waiting out in the hallway right now to come in and see me. If I wait till the bowl game's over, these dudes are going to scatter to the wind.
All right.
And you're at the mercy of whether or not they pick up the phone. So we at least are having preliminary conversations now. And yeah, we're going to lose some guys. We're going to keep some guys. We're going to bring some more in. This is college football, and especially with the nature of Coach Huff's turnaround being so quick, a lot of these guys came with him and still have eligibility left. I mean, they chose this place that was 1-11 with him. He's going to a place that's had a great history, has honestly more resources right now than we do financially. So we're going to lose some guys. It's okay. They need to do what's right for them. I told Jeremy, and we all agree, I'm not going to panic. This is not a 1 year. I'm not trying to flip this thing and win in 1 year. I want to stabilize this thing so we can be competitive every year. I want to be in bowl games every year, compete for championships every year. We're not going to get that fixed in one season. So I think this offseason, find the kids that want to be here. The guys that want to go and need to chase the NIL money, go. If they need to make a jump, that's fine. I wish them nothing but the best. Find out who we can bring in here that fits us, build some glue in the space, some leadership, some character, some good ball players, and we'll take this 1 year, one class, one off season at a time. It's worked for me at the other 2 stops. We took the same approach. We found success at both. I think it'll work here. It's just a little bit different dynamic.
Thank you very much, Coach. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
All right, DBAT sponsored that segment with Coach Blake Anderson. A great place to go get some Christmas gift ideas at the Pro Shop. They're on Hardy Street. DBAT, we appreciate all they do. 4th Street Bar and Grill sponsoring this segment of our program. As does Forest Healthcare, they remind you to keep up with your favorite team this time of the year. It's fun, but don't forget about the best and most important player, that's you. Get an annual physical. Be sure your health is as good as it can be. Forest Health can help you. ForestHealth.org. Also, hello to our good friends at MCS Home Center. Great Christmas gift ideas down there. Kelly, you said Christmas merchandise 50% off at MCS right now?
That's correct. So you get in there before it's all taken.
Appreciate all of our wonderful sponsors, and they're all coming back, we're happy to say, in 2026. We did not see one drop off, and we're very, very grateful to you for that. All right, well, you heard it here. Coach Blake Anderson, a couple things, guys. I'll give you my first comment, and then I get what your thoughts were. Interesting that there was no talk of him being the replacement for Charles Huff when he came here. That clearly was the speculation in the community, but Coach Anderson says not the case.
And he granted us that. He said, I totally see why people pieced that together.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little just strange that Huff brought everybody but him, and then he was the one that came. But, I mean, obviously you trust him and trust that he's right on that, and I do think once it started seeming like Huff was going to leave, I think he probably started thinking, man, I could, get the head coaching job here. But, yeah, I guess coming here, that wasn't the original case. But I think everybody knew that Huff wasn't going to be here long, and Anderson had to have known that,
now,
too.
who do you suppose those 15 guys are standing outside his door?
Well, I can tell you 4 of them.
I'm not going to ask you to name all of them, but what would be the names at the top of the list that – and clearly it was more important for him to talk to them than to talk to us. But what are the names most crucial to keep if you can?
Well, you got Chris Jones probably at your top. You got Ian Foster, which if I had to put money on it, I would think Ian Foster probably follows Huff to Memphis because he was only here because Huff was here, and Jason Seymour is going to Memphis too. Jamon Tapp on the defensive line. That's going to be a guy that they got from Arizona State, so he didn't have a lot of ties to Coach Huff. So that's a guy that maybe you could find a way for him to stay here. You're looking at some of those secondary guys like a Corey Myrick. You're looking at like maybe some running backs. So that I think offensive players, for the most part, you have a good chance of keeping because most of the offensive staff, I believe, is going to stay here. Really on the defensive side is where I kind of worry, and we'll see. We'll see over the coming days. And like he said, listen, we're having these discussions now. So there's a good chance that we could know some of this information even before the bowl game, and especially after the bowl game, we'll have to keep it updated because it'll roll in like clockwork, all around the clock almost. But to me, the best part of that interview was his answer on your question, Kelly. Just really emotional, and of course, if you've known everything he's walked through, as we covered earlier on the show, on this program, for him to even admit to everyone on air, that I live broken. Like, that's powerful stuff.
That was tough
and
to hear.
Like,
there.
he says, I live broken, but I've learned how to live with it. And he said, the only reason I can live with it is because of Christ. And, man, don't we just follow a wonderful Savior that you can go through things like that? Because, I mean, My wife and her family had to deal with similar situations where they lost a loved one very close to them. And, I've seen them grow and walk through it through Christ. I just don't understand how anyone can walk through things like that without the blessing and the hope we have in Jesus.
In the 42 years that I've been doing stuff like this, I got to congratulate Blake Anderson. That is probably the most genuine, heartfelt answer, an honest answer that has ever been given to me by an interviewee.
Yeah, it was hard to listen to, really.
And the other thing that jumped out to me about it was Dima had always documented early on in Huff's tenure that he never talked about next season, next year. Blake Anderson in the first interview has already talked about winning championships here every year.
Okay, and that's an important point, and I hope that our listeners heard what the man said. I'm not trying to turn it around next year.
Yeah,
I'm trying to build this to where we're competitive every year. So give the man some space and give him some time. Is that wrong to say?
And well, you'd hope that the fan base does that, but we live in a place of college football where that's just not the case. But I think that him saying that was exactly what we all said when he was announced as the head coach, that this is what Southern Miss needs right now. They need a guy in here who is going to be here for 2 or 3, 4 years, who can build this thing and get back to a consistent bowl appearance, competing for conference championships and stuff like that. And Blake Anderson is 100% going to do that. And, we're going to see a lot of stuff over the next days of how he's going to piece together his roster, how he's going to piece together this final signing class coming up in February. So there's a lot of great information to see from that. But basketball tonight. We run out of time.
Yeah, we are real quick. The use of the verbiage "we're going to build this," meaning he, the university, and the fan base. That we're in this for the long haul, not just one. But yeah, women's and men's doubleheader tonight. Conference play begins tonight.
And I've seen a lot of people on social media say they're pretty fired up to get out there to Reed Green. So I think you should see a pretty decent crowd there tonight.
Should be fun.
Yeah. Women's game at 5. Men will open men's schedule in the Sun Belt with the Cajuns, the Raging Cajuns. That's a 7:30 start, y'all. Normally it's a single game at 7. 7:30 start for the men's game because of the doubleheader. The women's game starts at 5.
And we haven't forgotten the fact that Coach Ladner will be coaching with a heavy heart tonight as he buries his dad tomorrow. So our condolences to Coach Ladner as well. And our thanks to Blake Anderson and to Jack Duggan for setting it up. And we really appreciate Coach Anderson taking the time to talk to, especially when we learn he's got 15 guys standing outside his door to determine if they're going to be here next year.
Yeah, maybe instead of listening to Kelly talk, you should go and listen to Chris Jones and get him to stay.
Yeah, so we're grateful to Coach Anderson and to Jack. All right, downtown, midtown tomorrow, 1 to 3. Please bring us some canned food, some gift cards if you like. Southern Miss.
To the top.
Don't expect the Jennies.
Waiting. You do it at grocery stores, in traffic, and at the doctor's office. But what if you could skip the wait altogether? Introducing Trust Care Plus, a healthcare membership that makes feeling better even faster. Skip the waiting room and enjoy priority access at any Trust Care clinic. Sick kid? Text your care crew day or night. Get discounts on prescriptions and so much more. Wait no more. Feeling better just got a whole lot faster. Join Trust Care Plus today. Plans start from just $15 a month. Learn more at trustcarehealth.com/plus.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.